And then I want to share my screen to make sure that we get the slides going. Okay, does everybody see the slides with 3 things? Fantastic. Now let's get the chat box going so I don't miss anything on the chat. And let's be able to see my notes. Those would also be helpful when using slides. So welcome, everybody. I am super excited to be presenting the 3 things you need to grow your business. This is what I'm passionate about for small businesses. It is giving you the basics of what is going to help you create exponential growth in your business. So first off, some that may be watching on Facebook, some that may be catching the recording, you may not know who I am. First off, I'm Tanya Souls. I am the owner mastermind behind Souls Consulting. I can alphabet with the best of them. I have a whole bunch that are supposed to be at the end of my name that I don't ever really include. Those of you who are a Strengths Finder follower, my first 2 strengths are achiever and learner. So I have a lot of certifications because I love learning. But the basics of who I am, the things that really fuel me and why I started my business. I'm a mom. I am a wife, a daughter, and I started my business a few years ago so that I could be available for my daughter when she needed me, and my mom, who's getting older and unfortunately recently fell. And I've been able to be there and help her through this. I'm an auntie and I love my nephews and my niece. We recently lost to suicide too, so much. And as much as I sometimes want to throttle my brother, I love him too. And his wife. And I mean, I'm a family person. Yes, I'm a business consultant, but I'm not your typical business consultant. I am not the stuffy, only going to tell you what to do, but not help you be successful kind of business consultant. I'm the one who is your champion. I am the champion for small business leaders. I'm your cheerleader. And as some attending today also know, I'm the call you when you're on your stuff, when you're not doing what you're supposed to do or undervaluing yourself, which is what we do so often, especially as women entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs as a whole tend to undervalue themselves. I'm a pumpkin plan, which you're going to be hearing a little bit more about, and Fix This Next strategist. I'm a huge fan of Mike Michalowicz. He gives some really practical solutions for entrepreneurs. It's not the pie in the sky, I'm going to make you $1 million today type solutions. There's actually things that work and matter. I also happen to be a complete and total Disney fanatic. I did take my honeymoon to Disney World. And I have been looking at speaking engagements in order to go visit Orlando and possibly throw in a family vacation there. I have Mickey things, I have Minnie things, I have all kinds of things that I absolutely love. So drop in the chat, what is your business? How long have you been in business? And what is your business industry? And if you're catching it on Facebook, drop a comment. I don't know, because the Facebook interchange has changed again, if I'll actually see the comments until after. But if I don't see them or respond to them now, I definitely will get back to you. Can you imagine a world where the only business choices we had to buy from were those big chain retailers, those big corporations? You could only buy things from Walmart or Costco or Macy's. You could only get professional services from the big 4 accounting firms like Deloitte and Touche. You could only get coaching services from those national chains that are linked to fitness facilities, and you only could work in one way. Now, think about how many of us, when we were starting our businesses and we're looking at how we needed to market ourselves, how we needed to set up our structures, how we needed to develop what had to happen, how many of us thought, well, I have to do this because of this is how someone else has always done it. I have to make sure I have funding, so I can't do this next thing until I figured out all of the money stuff, because I need millions of dollars to do what I need, because I can't do $1,000 a week in ads, or I can't service 1,000,000 clients at a time, or I don't have these things. I think entrepreneurs especially always have the envy of someone who has been really successful. We have those mentors, we have those things that is like, oh, I want to do that, and I want to look like that, and I want to make that happen. And I have several trainings that I've been through, and something that really has always stuck with me, especially those of us that are newer in business, we're comparing our blooper reels to the highlight reels of people who have been established. We're the people that have national traction or have regional traction, or that are having $10,000 a month, $1 million a month, whatever it might be. They probably didn't start in business yesterday. And so we have to really take the time to create the foundations in our business to know where we're going to go. So, does any of this sound familiar? How many of you have experienced at least one of these? Or even, I know many of us have experienced more than one of these. You're doing all of the things for marketing for your business. You're on social media, you've got a direct mail campaign going out, you've got an email list, and you're doing all of the things everybody's told you. If you do this, you're going to get traction. You're going to get people that are just lining up at your door. But your results are just kind of mediocre. You're just doing okay, but nothing fantastic. Or how about this? You know that you have the service that people need, that they're interested in, but you have people always saying, well, can't I get a discount on that? You know, we're friends, so shouldn't I only have to pay this much? Or even worse, well, I know someone who does exactly this and they only charge me this. So if you don't give me this ridiculous price, I'm just going to go somewhere else. I think we've all had that happen. Or this is as you've got all of the kinks worked out, you've attracted all of this attention. You have people beating down your door, loving everything that you're doing. And you want to do more, but you can't say yes to any more because you don't have the time to fulfill their orders. You don't have the time to provide the service. You don't have the time to go to the bathroom. And that's the reality for a lot of entrepreneurs some days. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about this. Imagine your very best, most favorite client, customer, the one who puts a smile on your face every time you get to deal with them, the one who is so easy to work with, the one who makes things awesome. It's the one who is the cheerleader, who is talking up your business. And every time you have a new program, every time you have a new product, every time you have a new service, they're like, here, take my money. They love to spend money with you. Now imagine that your business is overflowing with customers just like that. Imagine that your product or service is so different and unique from everyone else out there that you stand out from the noise. And in fact, you're in a class all of your own, and no one ever questions your prices because they know that you are worth every penny, and there is no other product or service out there like yours. Last, I want you to imagine that your business is running on automatic, like a well-oiled machine. You have systems, you have tools, you have processes in place, and your business is able to produce and deliver your offering over and over and over again with consistent results, whether you yourself are doing everything or whether you've got a team helping you. It is totally and absolutely possible when you're operating in the sweet spot of your business and you know the three things that are going to help you grow your business. You can open your eyes now and welcome Corey. So I'm going to take a left turn here. And before we dive into our three things that we need to know, let's talk about pumpkins. Yep, I am totally talking about pumpkins in May. So how many of you have been to a pumpkin farm in the fall? And you go in and we have some fantastic farms here in Southern Oregon. And there are hundreds and hundreds of those small and medium-sized pumpkins to choose from. The kind that you can pick up and carry and bring home, or the kids go on field trips and bring them home. And for many of us, it's kind of an annual ritual that it's the fun things in the fall. So how many of you have been in those pumpkin fields with your kids, if you have children, or have watched parents with their children who look at every single pumpkin in the field? They pick this one up and turn it around. And no, that's not what quite. And they walk 2 feet and they do that miss and check it out. And by the time you're on the third row of the pumpkin field and you're like, can we just pick one already? Because essentially they're 90% the same. There's a few that are not great, but overall, they're pumpkins. There's not anything that makes them extraordinary, which is why it takes kids forever to find the one that has their special thing. But how many of you have seen those gigantic record-breaking pumpkins that are on the big pallets? They are way over a ton. Sometimes they're at the beginning of the field, or sometimes you only see them on the news. They are crazy. They're absolutely crazy. But do you know what's different about the giant pumpkin than the field of pumpkins? There's a different way of growing them than the huge field. There's a few things that is a little bit different. A few years ago, author and entrepreneur Mike Michalowicz read an article about pumpkin farmers and how they grow those prize-winning pumpkins. And it struck him that the process that they can use to grow those giant, extraordinary, award-winning pumpkins also can be applied to growing a giant, extraordinary business. He wrote about it in the book that's just over my head, The Pumpkin Plan, a simple strategy to grow a remarkable business in any field. This book, it's the basis for growth strategies and tools that I use in my group program. And the first part of growing your giant pumpkin is finding the special giant pumpkin seed. So those giant pumpkins don't grow with just any ordinary seed. And some of those seeds cost thousands of dollars, which I think is crazy, but that's how they win the world records. So just like with a giant pumpkin, you have to start with a very special seed to grow your extraordinary business. You have to start with the right seed that has the capacity to grow. And that's what we refer to as the sweet spot in your business. And the sweet spot is the intersection of those three essential elements in your business. Those elements are represented by the three rings in this diagram. The sweet spot is that intersection point. So it's where your top clients, your unique offering, and your underlying systems and processes meet. You have to have all three in order to thrive. Why? Well, because if you don't know who your best, most profitable clients are and what they want and need from you, then your marketing's not going to attract your best clients. If you don't know or can't express what makes you different from your competitors in a way that your top clients actually care about, and that one's sometimes tough, then your prospects and clients will pressure you to compete on price. If you don't have the systems and processes in place that enable your business to deliver your product or service over and over again consistently without your direct involvement sometimes, and for solopreneurs, that's a little bit harder, but you can get to the point you can take a vacation and still have an operating business. But if you can't get to that point, you're just trading your dollars for hours. You can't grow beyond the number of hours that you can work. Now, I want you to stop and think. I'm going to give you the three keys to what you need to do and how to do it to grow your business. But before you dive into this process, and it's the second step after in my group program, it's the second thing that we do before we start talking about anything else. Once we do benchmark your business, we talk about your vision, your purpose, and your mission. And I'm not talking about the fancy website version of your vision. I'm not talking about a polished copyright. I'm really talking about digging in deep and identifying what really drives you, what you want your business to look like, how you want to work, how much you want to work, and build from that vision the purpose of your business and the mission that you're fulfilling. Once you have that, that's a guiding pole, a guiding light that makes everything else so much easier. I'm going to be offering a smaller version of my group program that we specifically do just vision, mission, and purpose later this summer. But if you don't have vision, purpose, mission solid, don't try and identify your top clients because you will get frustrated and overwhelmed. Because like many of us, we want to do everything for everyone. And we want everyone to need and want our services because everybody needs a health coach. Everybody needs a business consultant. Everybody needs a lawyer. Everybody needs printing. Everybody needs a vacation. But that's not really how you're going to determine who your top clients are. So the first ring is your top clients. These are your biggest fans, the people you love to work with that don't have a cringe factor, the ones that you want to work with over and over and over again. They're also the ones, as you add new services, add new options, who are like, yes, please let me buy more stuff from you. Let me do your next program. Let me try your next thing. I would be happy to answer questions so that you can market better. You need to know who your top clients are, and you need to know their demographics. and you need to know what they care about, what they dream about, what keeps them up at night, and really anything you can find out about them. If you don't know who your top clients are or anything about them, your marketing message is going to miss the mark. You can spend all of the time on social media. You can buy Google ads, you can buy Facebook ads, you can do the best SEO that you want, but it won't do you any good unless you really know who your top clients are. It could be an industry of people that you like. It could be moms of toddlers. It could be parents of college students. It could be professional women starting their own business after 40. It could be any number of things. It could be people who love to read Southern Living magazine. And there's tools that I use with my clients that help dig into the psychographics along with the demographics to really see what and who you want to work with. I just had a client who just recently finished the program who realized not only did she prefer to work with small businesses, it was small businesses in the growth phase, and was really dialing in those specifics of who she wants to work with. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had an interaction with a business, or maybe you saw an ad pop up on Facebook where you felt like they were reading your mind? They said the exact thing, like, oh, that's what I need. That's it. That's the perfect thing. They were speaking directly to you. Guess what? Those people know who their top clients are, and they understand what makes them tick. So it's your goal to make your top client feel that way. If your goal is to work with professional women, the language that you use, the things that you do are going to be very different than if you're working with blue collar men, or if you're working with retired individuals are going to be very different than new parents. So there's a lot of things in identifying your top clients. So to identify your top clients, you start out, make a list. You're going to make a list of all of your clients in order of who spends the most in your business. Simple list. Next, once you have that initial information of all of your clients, who's spending money with you, you're going to give them a grade on how easy are they to work with? Or are they a nightmare that you just hate every time they call? Do they refer a lot of business to you? Do they pay on time without the, oh, I forgot my wallet, or I don't have this? Do they help you test new ideas? I have a huge spreadsheet that we use in my group program called the Top Client Assessment. And it comes down from the cringe factor to, do they refer to you? How much time do you spend so that you can see how profitable that client might be? Because sometimes those clients that are your top revenue generators are also your top time suckers, and they actually aren't profitable because they're taking so much time. And then once you've gone through and identified your clients, given them grades, figured out, who your top 20% of those clients are, start looking at what they have in common. What demographics do they have in common? What psychographics do they have in common? Where did you meet them? How did you get connected with them? Do they have a particular industry in common, which is an easy one, but do they have demographics in common? Are they all women? Are they all men? Are they all parents? Are they all divorced? Are they all, you can kind of see the habit there. What do they have in common? And it could be something crazy, like they're all into roller derby. You would be surprised when you find the thing that they have in common. And it will be important as you go down into this process, because if you got a rolly derby rocker, how you present yourself is going to be very different than a corporate buttoned up, lives for the corporation type person. So the next thing that you need to know to grow your business is your unique offering. This is your value proposition, but I like to say it's your special sauce. It's that thing that distinguishes you from everybody else in the field. Because in my opinion, in my world, there are no two businesses that are exactly alike. And if they are, one is going to be way more successful than the other because there are no two business owners exactly alike. So your unique offering is that thing that sets you apart. Have you ever searched for a product or service online and found that everything looks the same? You've gone through a billion websites and they all look exactly alike. But then all of a sudden, something catches your eye. There's something different about the information that's being presented. Perhaps it's the words that are used, perhaps it's the visuals that are used, or perhaps there's a distinguishing quality of service or the quality of the product, or perhaps their approach to delivery of the service or product is totally different. Think about Stitch Fix for shopping. They send you the clothes, you try them on, you get to send them back. When you're looking for things and you're shopping, the convenience is huge. But the way that they stand out when you're looking through that search, they can't even really be compared to others in their industry because they're just different. This is my favorite example. And I never thought about this before I started diving into the pumpkin plan. Starbucks. So before Starbucks came along, coffee was a commodity. It was fast coffee. You go to 7-Eleven, you go to Minute Market, you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you get a cup of coffee for 50 cents, maybe $1 in a basic paper cup. There's nothing special. Well, then Starbucks comes along and they turn coffee into an experience. And the purchasing and enjoying of the cup of coffee is a whole new thing. They create an environment that encourages lingering. Their drinks have special names like caramel macchiato and mint mocha frappuccino, and their sizes are tall, grande, and venti, and now Trenta instead of small, medium, and extra large. They're still selling coffee and tea. There's nothing special about what they're selling. But the way they were doing it is totally different from any other chain that sold coffee and tea. Starbucks created its own category of coffee. And now it names its own prices. No Starbucks fan has compared the $6 now cup of coffee from Starbucks to the $1.50 coffee from 7-Eleven. Because there's clearly not in the same category. They're not in the same experience. That's unique offering. Ultimately, you walk out with a cup of coffee, but the experience at Starbucks allows them to charge a premium and to do something totally different. So identifying your unique offering, you know, that top client list that you just made, you're going to interview those top clients. They're the ones that you care about what they think. So you're going to ask them questions. And as part of my group program, I have a whole list of questions to ask. Things about, you know, what stands about your business? What stands out about your industry? What do they hate about your business or your industry? What do they wish was offered? What do they wish was different? And there's a whole bunch of questions that we ask. And then once you've talked to them and you're recording their words, because as you're recording their words, that gives you tools for future marketing, because you're using the words they know, they understand, and it's not necessarily the terms that we know because we're experts in our field. So as you're recording those interviews, writing down exactly what they're saying is super important. Once you've talked to your top clients and you've really identified A, why they've chosen to work with you, and B, what they love most or what they wish they had, you're going to create your unique offering that matches what you do best, what you love to do, with what your clients want most and what they value most. So you can create that category all of your own. Now, the third thing, systemization. So this is processes, this is scalability. There are things that support your business to produce and deliver your unique offering without necessarily dependence on one person or one thing, but also allowing you to provide that service over and over and over and over again, exactly the same. So the quality you give is easier, the process is faster, and it isn't reinventing the wheel with every person you work with. So when you have systemization, it allows you to go on vacation. It allows you to delegate to someone to cover a job. And this could be a VA. It could be an employee. It could be an outsourced provider of services. But when Oprah chooses your thing as her favorite thing, you want to be able to have the ability to scale up and meet the demand. So systemization can happen by documenting how you do something and teaching it to others. It can happen using softwares and apps and smart machines to create automations so that you can automate what you're doing. Most businesses have a combination of methods when they're systematizing. How you really think about systemization and how you create systemization, first and foremost, you've got to create your list of tasks. What are you doing yourself because it's easier? What are you doing yourself because you didn't have the time to figure out an automation? What are you doing yourself because you're like, oh, I just can't afford to outsource this? Make a list of all of those things. That list is not the stuff that is the special thing that you do and only you bring to the company. Once you have that list, start documenting the processes step by step of those tasks that don't have to be done by you. You don't have to do your own billing. You don't have to do your own social media posts. You don't have to do specific things. Those can be done differently. And once you document those processes, you can look at VAs. You can look at, is there companies? There are marketing companies that will take care of marketing for you. Marketing is not my special zone of genius by any means. And that is something that I continually look at outsourcing. I know almost all small business owners that aren't in the business consulting or financial world should outsource their bookkeeping. It's something that should be outsourced. How that looks like, it depends on your business. Once you've gone through that list, are there areas of automation that can be done? There's so many different ways you can automate and streamline services, whether it's email automations, whether it's course automations, text notifications, automatic billings, any of those things. There's so many, depending on what your business is how much automation you can include and simplify those little tasks that maybe only take you 5 minutes, but every time you have to do them, it just kind of irritates the snot out of you. Let's find an automation to see if we can eliminate that. So when you have all three elements that I just discussed, when you know your unique offering, you define your top clients, and you know what they want and need, and you've created some systems to make it easier to run your business, you've identified that sweet spot in your business. Now, some of you might be thinking that you have at least 2 of these elements. You're really good on 2 of them. And that should be good enough, right? To grow a decent pumpkin? Well, kind of like Meatloaf's song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but actually not in this case. 2 out of 3 will not get you to that giant pumpkin. And here's why. So let's say you can't systematize. You know your unique offering, you know your top clients, and you know what they want. But you're a solopreneur and everything has to be done by you. And in that case, you've hit your capacity to deliver your offering. You won't be able to grow beyond the number of hours you can work or the product you can produce. You will always be trading dollars for hours. I want to really reinforce this. Entrepreneur burnout is a real thing. It is way too common, and it happens all the time because entrepreneurs are horrible about creating systems to support their growth. And I cringe a little bit every time when we're having the what makes your business unique, their answer is me. If that's the case, then you're the only thing that makes your business unique. Then you can't systematize it. You can never take a vacation. You can't sell your business, and it won't function without you. So I'm about to take another left turn here. Peter Lilly. How many of you have heard of Peter Lilly? Famous artist. So I'm going to tell you a story of Peter Lilly. He was the most prolific English portrait painter of all time. He was the wealthiest. And it's because he found a way to systematize his paintings. Yep, that's right. 17th century artist found a way to systematize his work. He was known for painting women of the court in provocative but flattering poses. But the truth was, he'd figured out which poses were most flattering, and he only offered 4 or 5 different poses. And if you search Peter Lilly and look at his portraits, you will see that 90% of them are in very similar positions. Well, he hired apprentices and he taught them how to paint each pose. Then when he was hired to paint a portrait, he would essentially paint by numbers. He would tell his apprentice to paint pose 2 in a blue dress, and then he would add the face, which was what he was really known for and was the most specialized part of any portrait. It was his genius work. So he only had to paint this, none of the 95% of the rest of the picture. The moral of the story, a 17th century artist can figure out how to systematize his business. Chances are you can too. So nothing special here. Now, what happens if you have an offering that your top clients want and need, and you can systematize it so it's a breeze to deliver, but it's not unique? Then your offering is essentially a commodity, and your customers will be looking for the cheapest price. You will be experiencing constant price pressure, and you will find yourself losing prospects and clients to your competitors. If you've ever experienced this in your business, then chances are you don't have your unique offering. You're just a business consultant. You're just a financial advisor. You're just a plumber. You're not sufficiently communicating what it is that's unique about what your offering is. So what if your top clients don't want it? You have gone to this conference and there is the best thing ever. And you are so excited to offer this new product service, this new whiz bang, but nobody else cares. You have this great offering that can so easily be systematized. You can press a button and sell 1 million of them. Well, except you can't get any to buy one. You can't sell it. This is where it's a really good idea to test your ideas with your customers, talk to your top clients before you actually fully roll it out. So, a word about your top clients. I've talked to a lot of business owners who feel like they don't want to limit themselves to just one market or one group of clients, or they hear all the time about knowing who your ideal client is, but can't figure out who their ideal client is. So, who has heard of the 80-20 rule? So, thinking about it, it takes a minute to think, but I realized it's a hugely powerful concept, especially in this situation. So essentially, it means that 80% of your sales come from 20% of your clients. The same, your profits come from 20% of your clients. I would so much rather focus my sales, my marketing, my customer service, all of my efforts on my 20% of top clients who bring in 80% of my revenue. Those top clients who are bringing in the majority of your revenue, the majority of your profits, that's who you focus on. And the top clients can be categorized. They can be cloned. The way you do this is you make a list and you go through like we talked about. And once you've identified those best clients, look for their commonalities. Look at the segments that they belong to. Maybe it's recent college grads who are living and working in the city, or maybe they're all realtors or accountants or lawyers. Once you have what's in common, you can find and attract more of them. When you do those top client interviews, you know what they care about. What happens when you don't talk to your top clients about what they want and need, and you're trying to do everything for everyone, and you're using blue collar language for professional services audience, the professional services people are going to go, yeah, I'm done. That's not what I need. Or worse, the people who are your ideal top clients don't know what to expect from you next and don't know how to encourage others to work with you. So when we're talking about the sweet spot, everything is intertwined. A lot of businesses make the mistake. Sales and marketing is something separate, and you can't mix sales and marketing with customer service, or operations and productions doesn't mix. When you're operating in your sweet spot, your unique offering that you're using for marketing may be how you deliver your customer service. Your operations may be creating convenience, which makes customer service easier. They're all intertwined, and you have to recognize this. So the way that you produce your offering may be part of what makes you unique. Maybe your product is made in America by hand, while other similar products are made in China. Made in America by hand is how you produce it. It affects your scalability, but it also makes your product more unique from the other products in the category. And it may be why your top clients buy it. And they're willing to pay a premium for it. So, really, to summarize, your product or service, when you're producing it, it has to have a defined top client who wants it. It has to be unique enough to stand out from everyone else that has almost the same offering. And it has to be able to be scaled. And what that scalability means is unique to your business, and why I said it's so important to know your vision. Once you have those three things, you have the seed that makes your business easily grow organically as large as you want it to, without requiring you to do every job and work yourself to exhaustion. I'm willing to bet that at least a few of you have been thinking of your own business while we've been talking and trying to figure out, am I in my sweet spot? Do I know those three things? Where I have a free download for you. It's a sweet spot assessment. And it's just, I think there's 10 to 15 questions on it. And I'll put the link in the chat that you can fill it out. Fill out the assessment. You can email it back to me. We can do a free consultation and talk about it and really kind of do some strategies to see when we go over your results, pinpointing where you are and where you need to focus your business, what steps you may need to take in order to move more into your sweet spot, to help you experience the extraordinary growth that you want. If you're ready to grow your giant pumpkin and know that you need some help and guidance, I also have the group program that I've mentioned. I became a pumpkin plan strategist because I wanted these tools for my clients. There's over 30 different worksheets, guides, mini guides, all kinds of things that I go over the course of, it's a 6-month program, is my group program, that walks you through step by step by step on where you are today, talking about vision, mission, purpose, goals, before we ever dive into top client, unique offering, assessment, systemization. We even get into profitability. This whole program is specifically designed for small businesses. This was not a corporate program that was converted to, oh yeah, you can use this somewhere else. It's designed because we understand the challenges that small businesses face, and we address those challenges head on. I'm super excited to be affiliated with the Pumpkin Plan and be able to offer this. I continue to go trainings every month and learn, and we learn new ways to help our clients. And the results are amazing. It is allowing business owners to realize they can pay themselves. It allows business owners to realize they can take vacations, or it helps them survive when they're so overwhelmed they don't know what to do next, so they just want to quit, and allows them to get some extraordinary results. Here's some testimonials from some people who have just recently gone through my program. And the first one is really talking about the overwhelm and the overwork that happens so frequently for entrepreneurs. And this process walks you through to figure out, what really is happening, what really is going on. And then the second one, it really talks about, looking at your business as a whole and looking at the simplicity of the step-by-step process. So if you're interested in learning more about the group program, or like I said, I am going to be doing what we're calling growth sprints. I would love to chat with you and give you some more information and talk to you about what might make sense for your business. And I will drop a link to my calendar that you can grab. And that is my thank you very much. And I will stop my screen share. And please, do you have questions? Do you have things that you would like more information on? Anything I can help you with?
I don't. I look forward to looking into it more, because I know your last two people you had in your class were very inspired and really loved it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to stop our live stream and stop recording.